And welcome back to another pregame interview for Survivor Brooklyn South All-Stars. Today I am joined by Emily Pattok. Emily, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today, Andrew. Any day that I start with a bagel is a good day.
I haven't eaten yet today, so I can't relate.
Oh no, I gotta
No,
send you a bagel.
um, going right into it, when you're initially casted for the season, when they reach out to you and say, hey, we want you back for All-Stars,
Yeah.
just based off of your game in Survivor Brooklyn South, what types of things went through your head as far as this is definitely why George and the crew invited me back this time around?
Um, for me, it was no question on whether I would be on this cast or not. There's a lot of people playing LRGs, and there's a lot of people who played George's game, but there aren't a lot of people who just go all out every time they play. And I think George really admires that about my gameplay, that I'm always on 100%. I'm not deleting my personality for the sake of being under the radar. I'm here to play Survivor every time I play.
Okay. Uh, and so how did you feel about the fact that the cast was released before y'all hit the mat tomorrow?
That really complicated this situation for this live game because most live games, people aren't playing until you get there. People don't know the cast. They aren't given the chance to analyze connections. You just go. For this one, like, there could be premeditated boot lists for all I know. That's terrifying.
Shit, I can imagine. Were there any particular people that stood out to you as far as they're there, I'm going to have to work with them, or they're there and they're going to think that I want to work with them, but I really don't, or they're there and they're going to try to target me and I need to get rid of them first? Did you start planning in your head how you
Yeah.
think things might go?
I was super excited to see Anessa and McKenna right off the bat because those are two of my girls. In both seasons that I've played of Survivor Brooklyn South, I had a number one ally. Season 3 was Anessa. Season 4 was McKenna. Now, neither relationship got to go to the end like some of the duos in this game. So I like that because there might not be as much uh, of a focus on our relationship as there might be on some of the others.
Okay. And going off of that, everyone has said this cast is very stacked. And I do agree that this is a very stacked cast. So let's say there are three camps of thought going into this.
Mm-hmm.
The first camp of thought is people are only really going to put stock into how that person has performed in Survivor Brooklyn South. The second camp would be how this person has performed in every other LRG or org you have seen them play in. And the third camp, obviously, is the connections that these people have outside of this community, just in general. Like who's friends with who outside of the actual game. Which one do you think is going to play the biggest role in this game?
I'm glad that you bring up all three of those camps because all three of those things are included in my spreadsheet with everyone's names and the games they've played before, their placements in SBS, their placements in other games, who they hang out with, where they hang out with them, how often do I think they hang out, do they have any ride or dies in this cast? Like all those things are things you have to think about. And it is like a bit of a statistical problem where you're going to put a weight on what's more important. And I think that personal connections and relationships is likely going to trump SBS relationships. And I have held Anessa's baby. I have walked around with Troy's daughter. Alex and I dated for a while. Like there's a lot of interweaving of this cast.
Okay. All right. And going off of that, we have, because the LRG community is small relatively, everyone kind of knows of each other. They've played with them, they've seen them play, what have
Mm-hmm.
you. So going into this specific game, do you feel like the big targets are going to be the two people that have won this game? Is it going to be the people that have big names in the community? Is it going to be the people that are newer to the community that people don't know much about and say, hey, you know what? We should probably get rid of those people first.
Yeah.
Where do you see the targets landing early on, at least in your
Yeah.
eyes?
I think people love to point out that people have won before. I've won a couple games and that always follows me. People like to either target you for winning before or use you as a shield. The people who have won games before in this cast are Kylene and Troy for SBS. And then you have me for Buffalo and New York. Then you have Brienne most recently at Clinton Park. And then you have Alex with multiple Big Brother games. There may be some org wins mixed in there that I'm unaware of. But I think those are going to be something I could pull together as an alliance. Like, hey, we're going to have a target. But it could also be like a very easy way to get someone out. Like, hey, they've won. They've had that bit. Like, you've never won before. It's your chance. I'm afraid of those people getting together who may have a chip on their shoulder from other games or feel like they have something more to prove. But I also know that those people are the easiest to feed to their ego because they know they're great. They haven't seen the recognition of the game say they're great. So I'll say they're great.
Well, I think that and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like on an all-star season, with everyone having their perceived greatness in their heads, I feel like a lot of people are going to go in thinking, hey, I'll just use such and such as a shield, or I'll use this person as a shield. And we end up in a game of 20 shields where no one wants to take out anyone because they all feel like they're being protected by others. Do you see that potentially being a problem, especially early on in the game?
I want to break that up so fast, Andrew. I want to grab the people who are just playing with their friends or just playing with people they played another game with and go like, either you're out or you're with me, because it's ridiculous to just play the same games over and over again. It's like board games. You play Monopoly and Risk with your family, and they continue to play again because they know that, hey, this is might be like different. If you go into these games and just play the same thing over and over again, it's just frustrating and it's not fun. And I'm going to stir the pot as often as I can to prevent that kind of boring gameplay of everyone protecting everybody. I want us to be playing Survivor on the mat. Like, what are the situations we're being put in, and how does that make us have to play?
And it's funny you say that because I just recently rewatched All Stars for like the 1,000th time, Survivor All Stars, and I found a new appreciation for Boston Rob that season because, watching it, you can tell all of these people are really close outside of the game. And I feel like a lot of them went into the game thinking, oh, I'm just going to go play Survivor with my friends again. Like, I'm not going to take it too seriously because they're not going to backstab me because we're friends in real life. And what happened is that season, everyone got pissed off that Rob was playing the game and, put those friendships to the side, hoping that when they got off, they would understand that he was playing the game. And, I'm not making a direct comparison, but it kind of sounds like what you were saying there is, yeah, a lot of these people come into these games thinking, I'm ready to play Survivor with my friends. If I get voted out, it's fine, whatever. It's like, well, no, your mentality should be to win. Why are you playing if your goal isn't to win, or at least play as hard as possible and lose on your way, as so I do respect that mentality, and I hope that you can put it to good use this time around. Going off of that, because y'all have had so much time to potentially pregame, let's say that one person has. Do you feel like it's already become so fluid to the point that when y'all hit the mat tomorrow, all the alliances that people were building in June and July are not going to mean anything by the time you're out there because you've had so much time to once again get to know everyone that when you're out there, sorry, someone I made a deal with in June, I started talking to this person in September, and I think I'm going to go that way?
I think that there's like a level of like, when did you pregame with somebody? But there's also like, if you did it all. There are people I have not chatted to about the game on this cast, even though it's been out for 3 months. And part of that's because like a relationship might be not be there. But another part of it is you don't know who's going to repeat what you're saying pregame, just as well as you don't know what people are going to repeat postgame. There are people like I'm hearing that Troy and Jordan are talking to everybody. I'm hearing that Stan's talking to a lot of people. I know that Anessa is calling people who she's not even super connected with, partially because I encouraged her to, but also partially because she's just wigging out, and that's Anessa. I'm telling people that, hey, I want to work with you. Hey, like we get along in this game. Like I'm always blowing smoke up people's asses. It doesn't like I don't even know what I'm going to do in the game. Like I might vote out McKenna, who's like my best friend. I might become number one allies with Kylene, who didn't vote for me to win in Survivor New York, and I'm still bitter about that, even though I won. Like I don't know. I think most of those things said pregame are just bullshit, and they're not going to matter. and they're only going to hurt you. Is like doing too much talking is going to like, people are just, as soon as you open your mouth, like I plan on exposing the season 3 group chat. They made a group chat with all of season 3 people. But guess what they did? They were talking about it, thinking on if they wanted to add Pattok to the group chat. And they told Anessa, hey, like, should we add Pattok? Is this a good idea? And she said, if you make it and don't add her, you're screwed. Well, guess what? You're screwed for making it and not, or for not wanting to add me right away. You know, I don't know. See, it's only getting people in trouble. I want to vote out all of season 3, but I also know I need to work with them. I want to vote out everybody, and that's why I'm gonna lose.
So what are you gonna lose? Okay, all of that's sad.
I'm not like delusional about my win equity in this game. Like I know that there's gonna be like, or I know, you know, you're talking about people saying they're all big threats and these egos. Like I've won 2 games, and I had to fight really hard in season 4. Both of the games I won were before I ever played Survivor Brooklyn South. Season 4 Survivor Brooklyn South, I was like used as a shield consistently and having to crawl my way round for round. Season 3, I was voted out because someone told them about my recent win. So it's like, I'm just here to have fun, stir chaos. Like I make people play Survivor instead of playing with their friends. Like if I'm going all the way down to Marine Park, I better have some fun moments. I want rocks. That would be great.
You heard it here first, folks. We're going to rocks.
Mark's down. Mark's down. We talked on the phone. Gaming, of course. Mark's down for rocks.
Okay, and I want to preface this with, you know, I feel like I know a lot of these people in this cast, and I know that the reputations y'all have.
Yeah.
In your eyes, who is the biggest threat going into the game?
In my eyes, Meg is the biggest threat going into the game, and that's because she's able to balance the strategic weight of the game with just like a social prowess that's like unmatched. Everyone wants to be Meg's friend. Everyone wants to believe Meg, and I talk to Meg and I want to tell her everything just because the way she looks. She looks at you and invites you to tell her all your secrets. That's dangerous in Survivor.
I agree. I worked on production for her, and yes, she was. I was buying to a lot of it. George has been very cagey / cryptic / fucky about what types of twists are going to be thrown y'all's way this season. Do you have any idea, any thoughts in your, you know, in your spreadsheet? Do you have potential twists that might be thrown y'all's way this season? And are there any that you're just like, please God, don't do this to us this time?
I would really appreciate callbacks to previous seasons and twists that he's done before, even though there's some that I don't like. I'm hoping for like a schoolyard pick or like something. I would love to see like Cerie somehow pop up here. I don't know. I have wild expectations. George will always like surprise us. But I also think that he understands like what is Survivor and what isn't. And I've seen a lot of live games with a lot of crazy twists recently that are like, just, it seems that the games are further and further from actually being Survivor. So I hope that George keeps it Survivor. And if he doesn't, I'll be the first to say, what in the sequester is this?
Okay. And going off of that, we have All-Stars. You know, we have 20 players. We're all playing. Y'all are all playing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's where it ends? Is it Survivor Survivor Brooklyn South All-Stars, or is it Survivor Brooklyn All-Stars this v that? Is it, you know, do you think there's going to be a specific theme to it, or does it end at All-Stars?
I think with an All-Star season, you run the danger of pregame alliances and connections being too meaningful. But you also have a lot of people who know the game, and these are people who watch Survivor. They know what makes it fun. They've played before, and they probably have regrets on their game. Everyone here wants to come in and do something differently, because except for maybe Troy and Kai, who won. But then they're going to want to do something differently too. So I think we can count on a really fun game and things not being predictable. I doubt that anyone is going to be able to like say anything about the direction of this game, especially with the amount of swaps George likes.
So you think that's coming again this time?
Oh yeah, there's going to be so many swaps that you're not going to know what color t-shirt to wear ever.
Okay. Well, as we start to wrap things up, I I do want to ask, who is your all-time Survivor crush?
My all-time Survivor crush has got to be that's hard. Oh my gosh. I'll say Stephen Fishback. I love Stephen Fishback. I
Okay.
love Stephen Fishback.
All right,
Love
you're the
his
first person to
brain.
say Stephen Fishback, so I love unique answers. But Emily, thank you so
I
much for
partially
coming
said that
on.
because he's in the group, but yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited to see you play again. You were one of the people that I have had the chance to see play before. So I'm excited to see what you do this time around. I really enjoy your mentality going into the game. I hope that other people can have that as well. And thank you all for continuing to tune in. And we will see you after the next Survivor Brooklyn South pregame interview.